I need to say something that the tire industry hopes you never hear. That coin test you learned? That quarter trick they put on every auto parts store display? It is not keeping you safe. It is keeping you spending. And the worst part is that millions of drivers are riding around right now on tires they genuinely believe are fine because a coin told them so, while the actual danger is something completely different, something you cannot see by poking a Lincoln penny into a tread groove. I have been in the tire business long enough to know how this works. The coin test is simple, it is memorable, and it gets repeated on morning news segments and Reddit threads like gospel. But simple does not mean accurate. And what I am about to show you is that the real condition of your tires has almost nothing to do with tread depth alone. There are tires out there that pass the coin test with room to spare that should have been thrown away 2 years ago. And there are tires that look worn that still have real grip left. The difference is something almost nobody talks about. And it starts with understanding what a tire actually is and how it actually fails. So, let's start there. Because once you understand this, you will never look at tires the same way again. A tire is not just rubber on a wheel. It is a layered composite structure. You have the tread compound on the outside, then a cap ply, then steel belts, then body plies, and then an inner liner. Every single one of those layers has a job. The tread compound grips the road. The inner liner holds air. The steel belts keep the tire's shape under load. The body plies hold it all together under pressure. The entire structure is bonded together with chemical adhesion that starts weakening the moment the tire is manufactured. Not when you start driving, the moment it is made. Rubber oxidizes. That process is happening right now on every tire on your car, whether you are driving or not. It is the single biggest threat to tire safety that the coin test completely ignores. Here is the thing the penny test actually measures. It measures tread depth, specifically whether you have more than 2/32 of an inch of tread left. That is the legal minimum in most states. That is what the coin test catches. If Lincoln's head disappears when you drop the penny, you are above 2/32. You pass, but 2/32 of an inch is not safe. That is the number where tires are legally required to come off the road. It is not a comfort zone. It is the floor. At 2/32, your stopping distance in wet conditions increases dramatically. At 4/32, wet traction already drops significantly compared to a new tire. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has published data showing that at 2/32, wet stopping distances can increase by 100 feet compared to a new tire at highway speeds. That is an extra 2 to 3 car lengths of sliding before you stop. The coin test tells you whether you have crossed the legal threshold. It tells you nothing about whether you have safe traction. That is before we even get to the AGE problem. This is where most drivers get blindsided. A tire can have 8/32 of tread, pass every visual inspection, and be genuinely dangerous because of how old it is. Rubber compounds degrade over time regardless of mileage. The antiozonants and plasticizers that keep rubber flexible slowly migrate out of the compound. When that happens, the rubber becomes brittle. It develops micro cracks, sometimes visible, sometimes not. The tire loses its ability to flex properly under load, which reduces grip. And more critically, the bond between the structural layers begins to weaken. That is how you get tread separations, which are not slow tire failures. Tread separations are catastrophic. They happen at highway speed, they destroy control instantly, and they kill people. The industry knows this. That is why Michelin, Bridgestone, Continental, and most major manufacturers recommend you replace tires at 6 years regardless of tread. And most engineers set the absolute maximum at 10 years even if the tire looks perfect. The Department of Transportation requires a code on every tire that includes the manufacture date. The last 4 digits tell you the week and the year. If you see the digits 2419, that means the 24th week of 2019. That tire is now several years old. Go check your tires right now. If you do not know how old they are, you might not like what you find. Here is the part that should concern you. You can buy a used car with tires that look brand new, low mileage, plenty of tread. And if those tires are 8 years old, they are already past most manufacturer recommendations. The previous owner parked the car most of the time. The tires show almost no wear. The coin test says they are fine. They are not fine, because the rubber has been sitting, oxidizing, stiffening, quietly losing everything that makes a tire work. And you would never know that by looking at the tread. Now let's talk about what tire damage actually looks like, because the coin test also tells you nothing about structural integrity. Sidewall cracking is one of the clearest signs of a tire that's aging past its limits. Run your hand along the sidewall. Look at the outer sidewall where it faces away from the car. Look at the inner sidewall if you can get underneath. Fine surface cracking that looks like a dry riverbed is a sign of ozone degradation. Small cracks don't always mean immediate failure. But when those cracks start to look deep, when they cross the tread grooves, when you can see them spreading toward the shoulder, that tire is telling you it's done. Sidewall damage of this kind is irreparable. It cannot be patched, plugged, or ignored. It is a structural failure in progress. Bulges and blisters are the other thing the coin test cannot see. A bulge on a tire's sidewall means the inner structure, specifically the body ply, has already failed. The air pressure is now being contained by the outer rubber layer alone. That outer layer is not designed to hold pressure by itself. It will fail, and it will fail suddenly. When it does, you will be dealing with a blowout at whatever speed you are traveling. A bulged tire is not a tire you can drive on tomorrow and replace next week. It is a tire that needs to come off the car today. I have seen people drive on bulged tires for weeks because they did not know what they were looking at, and the tread looked fine, the tread was fine, the tire was not. Uneven tread wear is another massive signal that the coin test masks. If you stick a penny into 5 different spots across the tire, you might get passing depth everywhere. But if the center of the tire is worn significantly more than the edges, or if one shoulder is down to 3/30 seconds while the other shoulder has 7/30 seconds, something is wrong with the car, and that tire is not wearing safely. Center wear means the tire has been chronically overinflated. Edge wear means the tire has been chronically underinflated. One-sided wear means an alignment problem. Cupping, which looks like scalloped dips around the tread, means the shocks or struts are failing, and the tire is bouncing slightly on every rotation. Each of those patterns tells you something different, and none of them show up accurately on a single penny measurement in the center of the tread. So what does a real tire inspection actually look like? It takes about 5 minutes. You do not need special tools. You need a tread depth gauge. It costs $3 at any auto parts store, and it is dramatically more accurate than a coin. You need your eyes, and you need to know what you are looking for. Check tread depth at 3 points across the tire, center, driver side shoulder, and passenger side shoulder. Do this on all 4 tires. Write it down. You are looking for 4/32 of an inch as your action threshold, not 2/32 of an inch. At 4/32, you are already seeing reduced wet traction. At 6/32, you have good grip remaining. Plan replacement when you hit 4/32, not when the coin test fails. That gives you time to shop, compare prices, and not get pressured into a same-day decision at a shop that smells an opportunity. Check the DOT code on every tire and find the 4-digit date code. If any tire is more than 6 years old, it goes on the list for replacement regardless of tread depth. If any tire is approaching 10 years, it comes off regardless of anything else. Inspect the sidewalls on both sides. Get a flashlight if you need one. You are looking for cracking, bulges, cuts, or abrasions. Any sidewall bulge is an immediate replacement. Deep cracking is an immediate replacement. Surface cracking on an older tire is a warning sign. Check the tread pattern for evenness across the tire and for consistency across all 4 tires. If one tire looks significantly more worn than the rest, or if the wear is lopsided, you have a secondary problem with the car that needs addressing along with the tire. Check inflation. This is something people separate from tire inspection, but it is part of the same picture. Underinflated tires wear faster on the edges, run hotter, and are more vulnerable to pothole damage. Overinflated tires wear in the center and are less able to absorb impacts. The correct pressure is on the sticker inside your driver's door jamb, not on the tire sidewall. That number on the sidewall is the maximum, not the target. Now here's the part about buying tires that nobody tells you. The cheapest tire isn't always the worst, and the most expensive tire isn't always worth it. What matters is the speed rating matching your car's requirements, the load rating being adequate for your vehicle, and the tread compound being appropriate for your climate. If you live somewhere that gets real winter, an all-season tire rated for moderate conditions is not the same as an all-season tire with a proper winter compound. Consumer Reports and Tire Rack both publish independent wet and dry braking tests. Those tests show differences that matter in emergency situations, and price doesn't always predict performance. When you shop, get the out-the-door price, including mounting, balancing, disposal, and all fees before you commit. And if you need tires, don't let anyone scare you into a same-day emergency decision unless the tire is genuinely unsafe to drive on. A slow leak or wear approaching 430 seconds gives you time. A bulge or severe sidewall damage does not. The coin test isn't going away. It's too simple, too shareable, and too convenient for everyone involved in selling you tires as a replacement rather than a maintenance item. But now you know what it actually measures and how much it misses. Tread depth is one factor. Age is equally important. Structural integrity matters more than either one, and none of that shows up on a penny. Check your tires properly. Check them now. Because the one thing all of those deaths and serious injuries in tire-related crashes have in common is that the driver thought the tires were fine. Drop a comment if you found a tire on your car that should have been replaced already. Hit subscribe because the next video covers something else in your car that is silently failing long before any warning light ever comes on.